It's the brace before the storm. You don't know when it starts streaming. It was a sod to get working. And screw Discord, screw it hard. Brace. Just randomly, just not letting some people see each other. Right, so, welcome to Signs and Portents, episode 3. Get your viewing hats on as we hand over to Phil.
Hello, yes, Signs and Portents, episode 3. You join our intrepid party as they're returning back to the river, the Erie, on their travels from the city of Radcliffe to the city of Huthwaite. As they travel back, they can see a pool. As they mount the bank of the river, they survey the devastation that's before them. Their bodies floating in the river and sprawled across the bank, and the barge they're on has been burnt to the waterline. What is your next move?
I would quickly have a word with the party. I'm certain my squire would not have abandoned me. I think he would have either been captured or else, even if he had been, he would have left some sign in which direction they went. So perhaps we should look. I'm sure he would have left some sign.
Lady Cressida stands up in the cart she's been travelling in and looks horrified at the scene before her. And she says, "My friends, I cannot believe this. Do you think it was common river pirates or something more sinister?"
With all due respect, my lady, it obviously wasn't river pirates. We've been attacked non-stop by your enemies. It stands to reason that this is another attack by your enemies.
I so disagree.
I was hoping it wasn't true, she said, but I can see your logic in it.
Well, considering the events that have happened with your handmaid and all that, we can't trust anybody now.
But the handmaiden was killed in the attack. They did not come after us till the...
She'd had her use, and now they don't need her anymore.
I'm not convinced, but I'll go along.
What do you think we should do, she says.
Carry on.
Flee from this place before they come back.
Yes, I would agree.
Does anyone know how to track? Could you at least have a look round? Do you there, Master Ralph?
Potentially. Depends what we're looking for.
She says, "What do you suggest?" She says, "Should we wait for another barge, or should we continue on the northern bank, or should we move across to the southern bank?"
What do you suppose the odds of the next barge along being more of your enemies? They killed everyone on this barge, and they're probably looking for you now.
No, we need to slip into the town. Keep on the land.
Okay, what you do know about Huthwaite is it straddles the Erie, which is the river you're currently on. The Imperial Palace is on the side of the river that you're on. The city proper is on the southern bank. So you're effectively like on the wrong side of the river.
You wanted to go to this city. I presume you wanted to go to the palace?
Eventually, she says, but it might be safer if we visit the city first. And obviously the palace is a lot more dangerous.
So we're on the wrong bank, and we have horses. Is there a bridge?
There's no bridge between here and Huthwaite.
No fjords, no ferries?
There might be some fishermen or river folk that will give us a lift across the river at some point if we travel up the bank.
How stable does the barge look? Said it was burnt to the river line. Would it
Yes,
spot
it's
out
just
ways and be
basically
pushed across?
keel. Just as the fire went out, as soon as it started getting wet.
Well, wet ankles and knees would be more preferable. But we could travel ahead and see if we can find a river trader.
So you could possibly do that. Yeah, you want to travel along the north bank?
We'll travel along the north bank and look for a good place to cross, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dry place to cross so my fur does not get wet.
The river is quite wide because this is the main trading route between the two cities, so it is quite a big river. So you can travel east, sorry,
I'm
along
looking
the
for
river.
signs of my friend first.
Oh, okay. You want to search?
Yeah.
Okay, you can have a bit of a search around. You don't find any sign of your squire. I believe last week we finished by saying you did find the handmaiden still with hands tied.
But she was dead, wasn't she?
She was dead.
She was very dead.
Well, I'm pretty at home on in amongst trees and woods and stuff, and I've got a pretty good head. Make sure that everything's clear along the bank. Make sure
I
there's nothing.
suggest we stay together as a party. Having one person out on their own achieves only one thing. They either take all the danger on by themselves and die, and then fail to return to the party and let us know of the danger because they're dead, or it means they go ahead and make sure anything of value is theirs, and they keep doing that until the former situation occurs and they die.
Well, I can guarantee you that neither of those occurrences will happen. And as I said, I think one of us should go ahead just in case there is an ambush or there's dangers up ahead.
I agree with you, Master Elf. Scout is always handy with any force.
This is kind of my realm, really. I'm sure that nothing will.
How far ahead are you looking to scout?
Not too far ahead, but far enough ahead so that they aren't going to just blunder in behind me, really. So maybe 20, 30 feet ahead.
Oh, okay.
Not that far. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to head up so I can basically turn back and say, look, you need to stop because of this.
Okay, and when you say you're going to scout ahead, I thought you was going like a couple, 3 miles or something.
Well, no, I mean, we don't know how long we're going to go along this bank, do we? We don't actually have any destination we're aiming for at the moment. We're just looking for a trader. So, as we don't know where we're
yes.
He could be just around the corner.
Incidentally, Phil, I travelled this way on the barge.
You did travel down the river, yes.
Do I remember seeing any?
You passed a few riverside
homesteads.
dwellings and hostelries where the bargemen will spend the night sometime.
Okay, well, they're the south or the north river?
They're on both sides randomly.
Can you remember a particular one that you saw that you passed that's near here?
You think there's possibly one, maybe, maybe on your side, maybe, I don't know, a few hours ahead. So will tell you that. But obviously, if they're looking for people, they might think anyone they're looking for would head towards the nearest help, perhaps.
So when you say a couple of hours ahead, is that a couple of hours ahead at walking speed?
Yes.
At our walking speed, because I'm presuming the Empress is walking a lot slower than the rest of us.
She's in a cart.
She, right? Okay.
You got a cart and some horses from a farmer, didn't you?
Right. Okay. In that case, I'll move ahead a little bit further then. in the hope that we'll reach this, and then I can check this place out and make sure it isn't occupied by anybody we don't want to be bumping into.
Okay, are you staying at sight of anything?
Oh yeah, I'm
in the
basically
river?
going to be using the tree line. I'm going to be using my Mask of the Wild.
Oh, right, is that a stealth thing? Are you going to roll stealth for this?
Yeah, it pretty much means that anything that's trees, bushes, anything like that gives me bonuses to stealth and allows me to hide.
But it's not
Okay.
a favoured terrain thing, though, is it? So you move at half speed if you're doing stealth. So you turn a few hours into half a day.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be travelling up. I don't know if I have a favoured terrain.
No, it's a ranger thing.
Right,
If
yeah.
you're a ranger, you do, yeah.
Yeah, so
Get that straight away at level 1, don't you?
Yeah, you get it straight away.
I'm going to make sure I'm very aware of my surroundings. Keep my perception and my keen senses sort of on edge, and maybe not do so much stealth, but sort of whenever I feel that there's something to feel stealthy about or hear noise.
Okay, can you do me 3 perception rolls then, please? And tell me what they
3 perception rolls. Where's my perception? Oh, there he is. Okay, so my first perception roll yields. Now, I don't know what that actually means when it says keen senses, gives you things to perception. What does that actually mean? Does it mean anything? It doesn't actually give me a number or anything. It doesn't say, oh yeah, you'll get an extra plus whatever. It just says, I'll tell you what it says. This is one of the things that you're going to have to sort of play with because, as I said, I don't play a lot of... keen senses, your proficiency of a perception skill. Oh, right. What does that mean?
You
get
You
proficiency.
get a proficiency bonus.
All right. Okay. Right. Cool. Excellent. So, perception. Where are we then? Okay, so the first roll is a 9.
Okay.
Second roll is a 17, and the third roll is a 15.
A 15. Okay. You start off very warily. You're a little bit concerned. There's obviously this attack has made you extremely careful, and for a while you're in danger of the rest of the group catching up with you because you're moving too stealthily and too slowly. But you do sort of like get used to the area you're in, and you do start to speed up, and you do stretch out a bit of a lead on them. And it's not long before you spot a wood building, quite a large wood building in the distance next to the river. There's smoke coming out of the chimney, and you can see a man outside chopping some wood.
Anything else around the area that makes you look a little bit, that appears to be a little bit suspicious?
There are a number of boats tied up on the river next to the building.
Can I attempt an investigation, see if there's anything that stands out?
Well, what are you actually looking for? Anything in particular?
Well, the first thing I'm going to look for is see if the guy who's chopping wood seems a bit on edge.
As far as you can tell, he seems fairly comfortable.
Right, so he doesn't look like he's been forced to do what you normally do and don't sort of look like you.
No.
Okay.
Sort of rests on the handle and waits for you to walk up to him. He says, "Hello, stranger."
Hail. Just been up the river. I was wondering if you know of anybody who can take me across to the other side.
We've got a few people in today, he said. Someone might be willing to take you across.
Are they locals?
No, they're people travelling up and down the river. He said, you get them all the time.
So they're all regulars then, are they?
A lot of them. There's always someone new, but yeah, a lot of them.
Okay. Thanks. I'll take a wander in. And I'll take a wander in.
Okay. You walk around the side to the river entrance, and there's like a boarded walkway. Then steps down from that to the river to like a pontoon.
Yeah.
But off the wood walkway to the left is the main door for the building. And
I'll have a look through the window, see if anybody stands out as particularly well armed, or
you look through the window. There's quite a lot of people in the building. A lot of them are actually sitting down and eating.
Right. I mean, you can tell a trader from a warrior, right? I mean, a trader just look like somebody who's a trader. I mean, he won't
Yeah, a lot of them they seem to be conversing quite freely. Everyone seems quite friendly inside. There's no one you can immediately see that is keeping to themselves or.
Well, he's very well armed or anything like that.
Well, I mean, you can. They're sitting down. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily know if they're well armed as such.
All right.
I mean,
Okay.
as you look through the window, what you can basically see is it's quite a large room with large tables and benches on either side, and there are several of these across the room. And there's a couple of women wandering around with big steaming pots and ladles, and they're ladling out a stew into bowls.
Right.
And,
Okay.
filling up some flagons from a big jug.
Okay. All right. And now I'll turn and head back into the forest, back towards the group.
Okay. So you find the group easy enough, and they're moving along pretty slowly because of this cart.
Yeah.
And
I'll let Sir Boar know that basically I've come across one of the wooden huts that leads to one of the trader kind of stopovers basically, and that it seems pretty busy inside, but nobody kind of stands out as a threat. So I reckon it could be pretty safe, but I reckon a little bit of caution may be wise. Nobody sort of saying anything out loud, nobody declaring who they are, that sort of thing. You know, nothing obvious really.
Yeah, good. I would be able to tell the group that killed our barge.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was looking for. I was looking for anybody who looked like they're particularly, you know, you can tell a fighter from a trader. You know, somebody who's willing to kill people mercilessly from somebody who just goes up and down a river selling fish. You know?
Yeah, good job. Well done.
So I'll head back with the group. Then I'll stick with the group.
Okay, so are you heading to this building?
Yes, but I need to ask on the way, so how much money did you make?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I didn't make any money.
There are such things as off-duty warriors too, you know.
Yeah, but you know, off-duty warriors, people who are looking for somebody, isn't off-duty, are they? I mean,
As you approach the building again, the man has gone back to his wood chop. His pile was grown quite considerably since you were away, and he stops and looks at you again and goes, "Oh, you're back. More of you now."
yeah. We were, as I said, we were looking for travel across the river, and I was basically moving ahead so we didn't waste our time going from place to place.
Are you coming in this time?
Yeah.
Ah, good, he says. We do a good stew here. It's famous up and down the river.
Oh, good to hear it.
Are we staying for food, or are we moving on?
Well,
Are you staying?
I think maybe the best thing to do is not to look suspicious.
Okay.
I mean, if you stop, we walk in, go, oh, we need to go across, it's going to look a little bit like, you know, we're a bit desperate. Whereas we go in, look casual, have a bit of something to eat, and then sort of looks like we're not in any rush, so we're not in any danger, hence we're not being followed or hunted in any way.
Yes, let's go into the confined space full of potential killers and wait.
Well, you're always welcome to stay here.
Are you going in, or
There may be a fire you could kill in front of.
there is a fire?
There's plenty of sort of mice about, I imagine.
Yes,
Are
we
you
will go in.
Right, you're going in. Okay, so you push open the door, and all of a sudden, when the door opens, all of a sudden the noise from inside does hit you, and it is quite loud, sort of friendly banter going on. There's shouts, and obviously now you're closer. There's some people playing dice in the corner, and the smell of the food fills the air. Quite a nice smell of beef stew. And mixed in with a pretty rough but quite refreshing looking ale. And one of the women looks up and says, "There's some room over there by the window." She says, "There's a bench for you over there. If you want to sit down, I'll be over to serve you in a minute."
Thank you.
Are all of you going in? Is Lady Cressida going in as well?
But you'd have to ask her. You're playing her.
Well, it doesn't seem advised to stay outside. That's what I'm saying.
I'm actually I stick my head in the door and I immediately sort of become jittery and jumpy and I back out and I'll keep a watch outside.
I gently sort of nudge Cat in as I'm going into the.
And I say I'll keep a watch outside.
So you all go in, Lady Cressida and her handmaiden.
An even better suggestion: let's all watch from inside. Come on, party atmosphere. Let's do it.
Would you not like to know if a group of warriors disembarks a boat nearby? Maybe get yourself the opportunity to run out the back door.
She has a point.
A very good point, Bard. Don't annoy her.
If I come in screaming, or you hear lots of explosions and somebody else screaming, those are instructions to run away.
Right.
It does seem prudent, says Lady Cressida. That someone will keep watch outside.
I just don't like to see anyone leave the party.
Well, as I've been recently reminded that we do have to be careful now. There are people chasing.
Well, if I can get some food, I'm happy to go outside. That's pretty much my natural habitat. So,
Well, let's get in first, she says. So you all walk in, apart from Cat. Her and her handmaiden do stick out quite a long way in this place. Not only from the way they act, but also the way they dress.
My lady, perhaps it might be frugal, given our situation, if perhaps we furnish both yourself and your maids with more regular attire. Dress as the common folk.
A cloak should do it.
Well, we don't have any, she says.
Well, I'm sure we can find a way. How many women? Right, it's the lady. How many handmaids?
She's only got one left.
So there's one handmaiden left, yes. So
Right.
it's Cressida and the handmaiden, which I think was called Io.
How many female bar staff are there?
2.
Okay. Right. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to seduce one of them.
Oh no.
I want one of you to seduce the other. And whilst they're asleep, post seduction, we'll swap the clothes over.
What?
And then
They're
what
not
do we
going to
do?
complain. They're going to get lovely attire. They're going to get fabulous robes, and we get something that allows us to blend in just a tad more.
Cressida looks at you and says, Hadoroi, that sort of thing is beneath you.
I somehow
No.
doubt that, my lady.
No, I sort of motion towards the barkeeps, the barmaids, and I say, no, they are beneath me. Hopefully. As you wish, my lady.
I think your plan might take more time than we were hoping for.
Indeed, we'll have to be gone, long gone before they wake up. Even if they enjoy the clothes, they're going to be alarmed that their clothes are missing, and they'll know that we nicked, or rather, you nicked them. I'm not involved in it.
So while you're sitting down having this discussion, one of the women, the old woman, comes over to you. She says, "Nice to see some new faces." She says, "What can we do for you today? Do you want something to eat, something to drink?"
Both of those things would be great, thank you.
Yes.
"Thank you. That'll be lovely," she says, and she runs off back a big tray with bowls on. She starts handing them out, and spoons and flagons. And she says, "We'll be right back with the food and the." And she goes off again. Comes back with a big pot. She puts it on the table and she ladles out this steaming stew into your bowl. And she says, "Ale," she says.
Ale's all good.
And she looks, "Would my lady like some wine?" And Cressida says, "Wine would be lovely, thank you." And she disappears. She comes back with a big earthenware jug that she pours ale from, and a bottle with some wine. She pours into a flagon still, but not quite as much as the ale.
Ah, that's better.
She says, "Are you travelling up or down the river?"
We go where the current takes us.
Probably both.
Down the river, then.
Yeah, I think
I turned to her and said,
That was
"It's his first time."
That was me being a non-com.
Well, we'll probably stop there for a couple of days.
Yes, that's
Maybe
it.
if it's interesting.
There's lots of news of trouble at Radcliffe. I'd be careful if you're going down there. Apparently, a lot of the city guard were killed a few days back.
Oh, really?
Yes, some of the traders have been talking about it on the way up the river.
Oh,
Lots of gossip in here, she says. Lots of gossip.
Do they know what caused it?
They don't know. Apparently, there's a big fight. Apparently, kill some royal that was staying at the Citadel, but I've not heard tell of what's happened to that person.
Let's ask, did Phil's sound cut out for everyone else there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Phil, could you adjust your voice sensitivity down a little bit on your in the settings? You go to voice and video section, and there's a yellow and green slider bar. If you just bring that down so it's lower than the level it's at when you're talking quieter.
That'll explain why it's cutting off every so often.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Well, no, if you continue to cut out a bit during your speech. So. It's just just clipping occasionally, usually in the quieter moments.
Okay, well, it's a bit. I've changed it, but there's no yellow and green bar. It's blue.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but yeah, hopefully that's worked.
No, you're definitely colourblind.
Where was I? Which bit did you hear?
In the middle of that long sentence, it cut out.
Yeah.
She said that
was a royal killed?
We don't know if the royal was killed. She says, well, they don't know. The traders don't know, but that's what the rumor is, that someone was trying to kill one of the royals. So she looks at the person and says, "You want to be careful if you go down there, my love. They might be." It's funny.
And you cut out again.
Oh.
Sensitivity down more.
Stupid question, but it's definitely not putting up, is it? As in, like, kind of gain sensitivity.
In theory, because you can see that dark line as you're talking on the slider, you just want the little white thing below the level of the quieter moments of your speech.
Okay.
So just above the ambient volume.
Oh yeah, if the indicator is solid green, then Discord's transmitting your beautiful voice.
Is it? Is it any
well,
better?
That's what it says in the settings.
Is it any better?
Well, hopefully.
It is for now.
Okay, we'll try again. Yes, we don't know, she says, but you better be careful, she says. They won't be after people like you. They're a funny lot down at Radcliffe. All they care about is money.
Well, that will be what the fight was about then. There wasn't any royal involved. It's probably just, to make it sound better than it was, or maybe cover it up a bit.
By the time the rumours reach this part of the river, they've all grown a bit.
Yeah, become where I come from. We call that hill whispering. Where if you basically, if a rumor goes so far, then some of it will get skewed, and certain words change, certain ways you interpret things change.
I like that.
So the whole story changes. Well, there's not really many hills around here, but I suppose it would still work.
Yeah, it'll work. So, you going down the river? Did you come by barge or?
I look to Sir Ball. He is the one who leads the group here.
Sir Ball. That's a strange name.
I don't think it is boar, but that's the closest I can say, given Imperial's my second tongue.
Well, you know what I say, you know, all by name, but not by nature. With this one, so be careful.
So, what,
You were saying?
yes, are you got a barge, or how are you travelling?
We were walking.
Oh, walking down the Radcliffe, that's a long way. There must be days by foot.
We have horses in the cart.
Oh, okay. No roads near here particularly, she says, looking a bit puzzled. You're going to be
Are there
further
any
inland
roads?
for roads.
Are there any better roads on the south bank?
Yes, there possibly is. One closer, she says.
But is in touch with someone? I'll just have a quick look around the room. Who might be able to transport us across the river?
Oh, you want to take your horses and your cart as well?
Preferably.
Ah, it has to be one of the barges then, she says. She turns around and says, "All right, you lot! Anyone want to earn some quick money taking this lot across the south bank?"
Uh-oh.
Sounds like trade's a little bit scarce.
So one of them, a couple of people look up and are interested, and they said, "Oh yeah, well, what is it? Just people?" She goes, "Nah, they need a barge because they've got horses and a cart." So they say, "Well, the cart could be a problem, but we can get the horses across without much issue."
No, we do require everything. I mean, you know, the cart is absolutely part of our travel arrangements.
Family heirloom.
Is it a two or
right.
four?
Well, I mean, loading it here could be issue because obviously just getting it off the bank and into the boat, onto the barge is the problem.
What do you think then? I think we should leave it.
Well, we can give it a go. We can always manhandle across the gap, I suppose, and see how it goes. If you drop it in the river, you might have lost it.
Hmm.
I'm not sure.
I turn to Lady Cressida and sort of give her a look, so to say, do we really need the cart?
Well, no. I mean, I can ride. She says. So perhaps we don't. Perhaps we don't need the cart as such. Perhaps we could leave it here.
That could possibly work in our favour.
Yeah, I could double up with the horses. Oh, a couple of us could.
Yes. Okay. Well, as she says, I'll leave you to converse with Jono, and so you can work out a price for this short trip.
When the
she just leans down there and whispers, "Don't go with his first price."
I would imagine not. I've travelled many a barge, many a ferry, and these men with their big offers.
So
anyway.
Jono walks over and she says, "Right," he says, "It's the river, yeah? How many horses you got?"
How many do we have again? Is it 4?
Probably be about
Well,
eight.
we got 5 or 6, I suppose, with the horse pulling the cart.
One for each of us, then.
6.
6. Okay. Right. Okay. We might have to make 2 trips, I suppose. Okay. Yeah. We can do that easy enough. When are you ready to go?
As soon as you're ready.
Okay. That's going to be 2 gold pieces of each. So that's 14.
Buy a fucking bunch from that.
Well, it's fiddly getting across the river. You got to get the horses on. They got to clear shit afterwards.
Try again.
So is that good then? 14?
Shake my head. No.
When exactly are you thinking of setting off?
Well, I mean, we're going down the river, so we can go anytime we want, really. So anytime before we go, I'll take you across. Just when you're ready.
Well, time for us is quite short. And there's a possibility that if we don't go fairly soon, we could run into some complications. And that does include for you as well. So, really, for the good of all of us, it would be good to head off quickly.
That's okay with me, he says, as long as the price is right.
Well, how about we call it 10? And that also, considering we're doing you a favour by keeping you safe as well.
How are you keeping us safe? Or me safe, he says. Looking a bit puzzled.
Well... And I lean in very closely and I say, there are people who are looking for me. They want something valuable. And to be honest, if they find me and they find out that you're helping, they won't like that one bit.
Well, surely that's a reason not to help you.
Don't nod.
It's doing a reward. I'll take the reward money if there's some reward.
I get up, kind of throw down my broth and say, fine, I'm getting another ale, somebody else negotiate.
I'm back in just a Go on, there you go.
Alright, so Ronnie, hit the gear icon in the bottom left. Then click video and voice and video under app settings. Now, when near 2/3 of the way down the screen, there is a bar that has got a sort of yellow and green horizontal bar. Automatically determine input sensitivity.
I think it only goes coloured when you talk.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, I found it now.
Okay, so set that white block just above the volume that you're getting when you're not speaking.
What? Sorry?
So there's a white slider bar on there that you can adjust. Set that just above the level that is showing on that bar when you're not talking.
You guys
Right, you've lost
the
me.
little box
Sorry,
in the
you've
right-hand
lost
corner first.
Okay, so in the voice settings, under input
Yes.
sensitivity, there is a yellow/green bar.
No, there's just something that comes up green.
Yeah, I think it's a different colour on our computers.
No, right, it's green because it's at minimum sensitivity, I would imagine. Which means that isn't the problem. Okay.
I still don't know the slider bar you're talking about.
Yeah, there isn't one that doesn't appear on mine.
It doesn't appear on mine.
It doesn't look like a slider bar until you untick the little box in the right-hand side.
That's
There's a
the
little
point,
dot.
actually,
Yeah.
Ah, right. Now
Yeah,
we got
automatically
it.
determine input sensitivity.
So what have I got to do?
Just set that bar just above your ambient volume setting. So you'll notice as you talk that the dark shading goes much higher.
Right. Okay. So I've got to set that under where it goes.
You want to set that just above the ambient noise level for when you're not talking, so that when you are talking it cuts in, and when you're not talking it's not transmitting your audio.
Yeah, I still don't know.
Okay, so you want to put that white slider bar,
Uh-huh.
or rather, you want the area. So, okay, no, let me explain. When that bar, can you see as you talk, that bar goes dark?
Yes.
That's like a
It's
volume
already...
level. Okay, and the white block is saying this is the volume level that will trigger me. So that the green area is when you're transmitting, the yellow is when you're not.
Right, so I've put it down lower.
Okay, so
I've put it down significantly lower, actually.
yeah, that white bar wants to be just above the volume that is being detected when you're not talking. So your ambient room noise.
It's directly under the U in input on mine.
Yeah, that's roughly where I've got mine. Mine's more under the P, but yeah.
Okay, I've got it there. Yeah, I'm glad you knew. I'm glad you guys knew about that because I still don't. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, it's sounding a lot better, Ronnie.
Something new every day.
Yeah.
So, is anyone else taking over negotiations?
Somebody please, and then never let Jason near a negotiation for anything again.
Oh, thanks.
10.
10? We've already gone 10, 12.
Done.
Listen. I go to the listen. I have an even better suggestion for you.
Does it involve music?
What's
it
that
does.
If you can threaten play bagpipes, I'll take your cost for 4.
I'm threatening to play much more. No. We will pay you 5. But in return, in every township that I enter, I will make a point of going to the largest, most expensive, most busy and well-profited tavern and sing your praises. I will be a walking advertisement for you in all the surrounding townships. You will gain unbelievable amounts of business thanks to my generosity.
Oh, that's
5 now. 5 now. 500 later. When you think of all the extra business you're going to pick up thanks to my generous singing.
How do I know you're actually going to do that, though? You'll say that now and you'll just forget about me.
I have never when it comes to making music.
Bit of a singer then, are we?
Well, one likes to think so.
Well, if you're going to do that, I'll do it for 9 if you promise to do that.
8.
Oh, go on then. But you got a promise.
You have my word.
Okay, well, get your stuff. We're ready to go.
I'll put 2
Yes, you can all thank me later.
So he gets his crew together and ushers them out the door. And
finish my meal first.
Yeah.
One of them, a short time later, one of them sticks his head back in and says, "Well, we're ready for you whenever you need."
We shall be along presently, my good man.
Well, take your time, won't you?
Well, we're just finishing off the last of our meal. Worry, we'll be there shortly.
And as he turns to head out again, you see the cat sort of looms over him. Sees the mask, and he strolls off back to the boat, just looking at you sideways. So from the bank to the barge, ready to load your horses.
Okay, 3 at a time.
Are you going to lead them over, or do you want them to do it?
Let them do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they can they have a little bit of trouble coaxing the horses over initially. They get the first couple over after a bit of a struggle. Then sort of like the horses seeing some of their companions over on the barge are a little bit happier to cross the boards. They're a little bit rickety. They're not quite as sturdy as you might wish they would have been. But after a short time, all your horses are on board the barge.
It's a rickety old thing, isn't it? I hope you didn't pay silver for this.
I think I may have overcharged at 8.
8 silver?
8 gold, didn't he pay?
What? A boat like this should be paying at most a silver piece. This is
Right,
you're crossing a river.
If you want to jump on board, we'll be there in 10 minutes. It's
I'm
not
not
far.
surprised at that money.
And so Uber was born.
Come on, cat, come sit. Nice,
I'm
nice.
glad I'm not
cat.
paying.
Hurry up and get in the boat. We're going.
Yes,
is
all right,
paid
all right.
So, it is quite a short trip once they actually turn the boat out into the river, and a few good hard strokes, and they're across the river in no time. And a couple of the sailors jump out, and they're manhandling the boards back onto the southern bank to take the horses off. They manage to get the horses off onto the ground, and all the kit you've come with, and all of you are safely on the southern bank. And as you turn back, as the barge pulls out back into the river, Jono is standing on the deck and he's grinning a nice wide smile.
And just one thing, this money buys silence from you. 8 gold. Lunatics.
I believe it was the bard who negotiated.
Yeah, so the bar's got 8 gold.
Yeah, he pays.
He's paying, is he? He holds his hand out for his money.
There you go, my good man. A job well done indeed. Fantastic, yeah.
Don't forget to
Excellent,
warm your
and
voice a
don't
bit
worry.
later.
And don't worry, we will.
And as you
see you
mount
right.
to ride away, and the barge pulls off downriver, you can hear a lot of laughing going on the boat.
Yeah, I'm going to mock him for the rest of the afternoon, actually. In fact, I'm going to sing a song. There was a foolish bard who thought money had no value. He was an idiot.
I just think you can sing about it all over town.
He even claimed he'd invented a form of boat sponsorship to get a discount on crossing a river. From that moment forth, his jacket would forever brandish the name of the boatman who overcharged him. His tongue had
Jono's
the
river
tattoo
voyage.
of the man's name across it. For the bard had promised he'd always sing the man's name. For the great service, affordable as it was.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So, you're
And I will be good as my word. I will sing about this particular ferryman at every port.
And what a
I'll get my
marvellous
money
discount he gave.
I'll get my money back.
So you're on the southern bank and you've got your horses. Lady Cressida and the maid will ride on one together. So you've all got a horse.
The cart any longer.
They couldn't take the cart. You left the cart.
Okay, sorry. paid 8 gold and I didn't even take the cart.
Well, technically, it wasn't your car anyway.
I just off the cross.
Well,
So you can head off to. How are you proceeding now then? Are we getting another scout
What
ahead
capital?
or?
Oh, I see.
Well, what are we looking for now on this side of the river? The idea on this side of the river was to find a barge that will take us further up the river. But what we did was we found a barge on the north side that takes us on the other side, so we can find a barge to take us up the rest of the river.
You're on a more convenient side of the river for where you want to go.
Oh, okay.
There are roads.
There are roads. This will cut your time to halfway.
So why don't we just take the roads?
Okay.
To the city, to the town major, which is on the south side. So we need someone to just scout ahead and make sure our entrance is not overly observed.
Can I take a horse then?
Yeah.
Oh, you've all got a horse.
Using one anyway.
Right, yeah, I thought I was walking when I was walking before along the northern banks. Okay, I'll take the horse and I'll travel up ahead. I won't be going stealthily, but I will be using sort of my perception to keep an eye on things and to look out for any dangers or possible ambushes.
Okay, if you roll a perception again.
Just for one?
Yes.
Oh, natural 20. So that's 23.
You become aware of quite a way off on the northern bank some horsemen who seem to be paralleling you.
Knowingly, do they look like they're paralleling us on purpose or just by coincidence?
Well, you didn't see anyone on the northern bank when you were there. You weren't aware of any roads on the northern bank.
Right, so they're basically, they're travelling through the trees, are they?
Yeah.
Are they aware of me?
You'd think they must be. You're on a road, you're quite open.
But there's no reason for them to know who I am. Because I'm not important enough. They're probably looking for the Empress or the Empress's mother or Emperor's mother, whatever, and possibly a knight, because he stands out like a sore thumb. But the chances are, I forget you.
Yes.
A few of us, they won't be aware of a few of us because obviously, who are we? We're no ones. So, I don't want to go back just in case it becomes suspicious. If I suddenly turn around and travel backwards, it looks like I'm going back to warn someone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow my horse down, but not obviously, and wait for them to sort of crest the rise behind me or whatever, and hopefully do some kind of indication that we're being followed by, waving my hand or doing some kind of something that I wouldn't normally do on a horse. All sorts of ideas, but no, something that some kind of indication that we may be in.
Okay, you can slow down, and within like an hour, they've got you in sight again. And Sir Beor and Cadroy, Cat, and Rorik, you can see Valen up ahead of you. It seems to be ambling along the road quite slowly. He seems to be waving his arms around in some.
I'm not waving my arms around. I'm not like I'm surfing or something. I'm going to basically on the side of a body that they can't see. I have a river, right? So I'll be on my left side. I'll be making an indication. No, but they're all right, whatever. Right, I'll be indicating. Yeah, I'll be indicating. I don't know why I saw myself in the other side, but anyway, I'll be doing an indication, wave my hand or something that indicates that something's not quite right. Like, I wouldn't be doing it. With,
how do the rest of you interpret this?
We likely don't. We have no
think he's having a
prearranged
stroke.
signal.
It's some sort of strange elvish greeting he's doing.
He's not riding very fast either. He's supposed to be scouting.
No.
And he's ambling around like a lunatic. What is his
Maybe an
problem?
intelligence check to say that maybe I'm doing something that isn't normal, and maybe there's a reason for me doing it from everyone, rather than just going there going, "Oh, he's doing some strange elven thing."
Well, that's how we perceive it.
Is there some method of prayer for this?
Yeah, because you've seen me do it loads of times.
It could be a form of interpretive dance. I know elves like to dance.
Yeah, that must be it. Yeah.
That's
He's
what
lost his. He's
doing.
forgotten what job he's actually supposed to be doing, hasn't he?
Should I maybe go on ahead?
He's
It's
got
He's
the
clearly-
attention span
He's
of-
clearly trying to show us where all the entrances and exits are.
I wonder what conversation's going on in his mind. Probably.
Okay, right, I'm going to shout to the other bank and say, "She's up the road behind me," and then ride off towards the nearest town.
They are way back from the river. They are way back from the river. You couldn't. I mean, even a bow shot, you'd have no hope of hitting them. They're quite a way away.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, he's there doing this sign, but it doesn't really mean a lot to you because, as you say, it's not been sort of pre-arranged. But he's obviously doing something, flapping his
I'm
arm.
obviously trying to gather their attention, aren't I? I mean, why else would I be doing it, really?
Like we said, prayer, interpretive dance. I mean, there's
I'm going to punch the bard and shoot the bard. I'm going to wrap a note around an arrow.
Why?
Shoot the bard, and the note will say, "We're being followed."
But I will be providing your soundtrack while you do your
Yeah, another
interpretive
good reason to
dance.
shoot the bard. So I'm going to basically wrap a note around an arrow and shoot the bard.
Alright.
So,
Shoot-
I mean, all
Don't
this time
shoot the
you're slowly,
interpreter.
you're slowly catching up with him all this time because he is still going slow.
Okay, I'm going to ride forward from the group. And so I'll sort him out and get his mind back in the game, and I will ride forward.
I'm going to shoot the cat as well.
Are you
Okay, so-
honestly attacking members of the party at this point?
No, of course I'm not.
Okay.
You can
I
catch him
want
up quite easily. It's not.
Yeah, so I ride forward and pay attention. We've nearly caught you up. You're dawdling.
I say, "Look," and I'll point across the river.
I look across the river.
And you see probably 8 to 10 men, like as Valen was saying, shadowing you on the opposite bank.
Why didn't you stop for a break and then have us catch you up that way?
That would be a bit obvious, wouldn't it?
What, stopping for a rest when your horse is tired?
I'm on a horse.
Oh, they get tired.
Horses get tired and asses get numb.
Quite often, people on
Shadowing
the
is
journey,
stop as well.
you would have got off and walked it for a while even.
Yeah, well, even that, I can't. What I didn't want them to do is catch up with me, because as soon as they catch up with me, then they'll know that at the moment I'm on my own as a lone traveller.
Well,
Okay, well they've caught up with you now.
Yeah, well, there you go.
well, they're a long way off. What we should do, they obviously know where we're headed. We can't change that. But we could move away from the road so they can no longer see us.
Are there any villages nearby? Any smoke we can see over the rise or anything like that coming through trees?
There are a few. There will be a few more villages, and they'll get a bit more common as you get towards the city. The farms will get more dense, and there'll be a few more villages. And
My concern is that how many of them can we see?
8 to 10.
8 to 10. Though that is a potentially a raiding party, isn't it?
It is. What we could do, if you can find a village, we could actually probably trade our horses in for different horses, and maybe see if we can acquire some new clothes, especially for the ones that sort of stand out a bit, and then we continue our journey on.
I stand out a bit.
Well, no, I mean, but the knight stands out a bit, a knight, and the empress probably stands out a bit because I imagine she's not underdressed.
No, she's quite ornately dressed, really.
Exactly.
And always has been.
And these people that's the sort of thing that's going to stand out, and that's not what they're not going to expect. They know what horses.
Colourful. I'm different. We all stand out in our own way if people are looking for us.
Yeah, but at a distance they're probably not going to notice a difference.
I think
They'll just
you'd
see the shape.
I think you would also be pushing it to get the Lady Cassida to dress in common clothes.
And she dies, doesn't she? And that's not my problem.
It's our problem in that we then won't get paid.
Well, we also don't get killed.
Our job isn't to disguise the Lady Cassida. Our job is to escort her.
Exactly, and it's also not to die for her either. So if we all want to survive, maybe the idea would be for her to basically swallow her pride for 5 minutes and just bear something different.
I wouldn't know. Dying is for the less skilled.
As you're sort of ambling along with this discussion, you notice up ahead, probably a few miles up ahead, this road you're on is going to pass through a village.
Right. We could always stop as well.
We could try to deal with them another way.
In a way, I'd much prefer them to come to us and for us to be ready for them than for us to walk into an ambush.
What if we scared them so much that they don't come near?
Well, there's a lot of them. I'm gathering they're trained and I know what they're doing. This is not their first, I would say rodeo, but I would say joust. If it were setting. Not their first joust.
So, what are you going to do? You're going to tell the others in the party, or are you going to wait till you get to the village up ahead?
Yes, I'm going to ride back to the party, so... yeah, I'll ride back to the party.
And as soon as you arrive, Cressida, Lady Cressida says, what's happening? Why is he riding so slowly?
There is a group of bandits on the other side of the river. They appear to be matching our pace.
Oh, something to do with the barge. They could be the people then.
Well, I suspect the story of the bard who paid 8 gold and his companions has travelled far and wide by now.
You're never going to live this down, am I?
Yes, highwayman then perhaps, just out to make a quick penny.
More likely, it'll be the people who raided our own barge, I would imagine.
Yes, I have a feeling that's going to be the case.
The remnants of a hunting party.
What are we doing? Are we rushing up to the city?
There's a village up ahead. It might be worth us going a little out of our way and far from the river by taking a different road for a while.
I think, she says, that would be Thetford. There's a small tributary that joins the Earby at this point, and that's a ford across that river.
A ford across the other river or this one?
A ford across the small tributary.
Right. Does it have any roads leading out away from this river?
There will be some headed south, she said, yes. Probably there's one that loops back to Barston from here.
Sorry, I'm not really with compasses. Are we heading south?
You're heading east.
Right.
Barston is a town south of Radcliffe. So it's behind you and southwest.
Right. Never eat smelly whiskers. Yes, okay, yes, south works.
We want to go south, away from Huthwaite.
If we travel further from the river, we should lose our pursuers.
Okay,
That's what I've been saying.
I can see your plan, she says.
Keep on land, away from the river.
There are many ways to get to a big city like Huthwaite, but if we keep following the river, we're doing the most predictable thing.
Yeah. But maybe that's a good...
We are being hunted. It's not something I'm that familiar with, but I'm very familiar with hunting. And a predictable opponent is one easily eaten.
I've hunted before. This is
I
just
am
the kind of thing that
entirely
you
in
would
your
do.
hands, she says.
I'm sorry, I missed that, Phil.
I'm entirely in your hands, she says.
I have pause, I say as I move on from her.
I must rely on you. I know I'm quite aware of the fact that by ourselves we would not make it back to Huthwaite.
Servior,
Yes.
do you think it is a good plan to move away from the river?
I do, yeah. Yeah, we could travel south now, work our way around across this tributary, and then approach Uthwaite from the south.
Or we could cross the tributary at the village and then head south along one of the roads. They won't be able to cross the river still.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could go across open fields and be less traceable. That is a good idea. I don't know why I doubted your first suggestion.
Yeah, we haven't got the cart now, so there's nothing stopping us from doing that.
No.
Okay, so you're gonna you're gonna just break away from the road now and go south.
Yeah,
Yes.
do a long
Does-
sweeping.
Does somebody want to tell the elf?
Just wave
Yeah,
We could try doing this.
Yeah, I'm going to put you on your sleep.
Or
So-
we could pay him 8 gold.
Yeah, that's a better idea. I'll hang back to make sure to watch these guys a little while, or maybe, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes, and then follow, catch up.
Okay, so yeah, you can head south, and basically all you see, the only people you meet southwards is farmhands in fields. It is quite bereft of a lot of people, and it's quite open fields, few cattle, but it is quite open, and you don't see. You soon leave the river and these people behind you. How far are you travelling south before you start moving east again?
Do we know where the next road is?
Yeah, you can probably find it's probably another hour or hour and a half down the southern road.
Small change. Easy. We'll do that.
Okay, but an hour away from the river, you put on quite a distance.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's
they
the
can't
point.
see you from the river anymore. But you can then make the turn east or northeast, headed back towards Huthwaite.
Do they continue along the river? And because I watch them for a while, so
Okay, so as you stopped, or you continuing along the river? You stopped as well, Jay.
well, I'm gonna basically continue for a little while because I can bycross any fields and stuff to basically.
Okay. They follow you for a time, but as you turn south, you notice that they take a couple of minutes and then they stop, and they seem to be milling about, possibly having a discussion.
They're having a discussion.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ride out of sight of the river, and then I'm going to dismount and sneak back and basically continue to watch what they're doing from a hidden position.
Okay, can you do a stealthy roll, please?
Hey, what you roll?
Stealth.
A stealth roll. Stealth rate.
It's appalling.
13, 21.
Okay. Yeah, they don't notice you creeping back to observe them. They talk for a while. Then one heads west at quite high speed, back the way you'd come, but on the other bank, obviously.
Yeah.
And the rest of them turn and head towards Huthwaite.
Right. So one of them's gone back, and the other one's continue on. Okay. Whilst as they wander off, I'll watch the other one appear back west, and then once they're out of sight, I'll get back on my horse and I'll catch up with these lot.
Okay,
And
yes.
time will happen.
I mean, they're sticking to the road, so they'll be quite easy enough to find.
Yeah, I know where they're heading. So all I was worried about is what they would do when we disappeared. That's all I worried about. I know where they've gone now. I know at least most of them have gone to the city, so we know they're going to be there. And the other ones obviously gone back to inform somebody or something. I don't know what they're doing, but
Okay, so you can meet up again just before you make the turn back east. And again, this road is pretty quiet. There's not many people traveling it. The main thoroughfare is the Earby. This leads pretty much directly to the south of Huthwaite, and within a few hours, you can start seeing a misty horizon, which is the fires and chimneys of the city ahead of you. As you come into view of the city proper, what's your decision to how you're going to get into the city? Are you sneaking in? Or are you going to just ride in openly?
what time of day is it when we get there?
It's getting on now. It's got to be late afternoon.
Is this the kind of city that has guards and the like on all the roads?
There will be guards, but they're not the Imperial Guards. They tend to guard the palace rather than the actual city. So they're just going to be like another city guard.
So it's
Okay,
likely
so
they won't
on that.
particularly be looking for Lady Cassiter.
No, it's very unlikely.
Is this also a sort of city that closes its gates at night?
It does, yes.
Right.
Well, why don't we wait a little bit longer until the sun starts to go down and, we turn up at a natural time to eat? They won't think anything of it.
Based on how far ahead they were on the other bank, would they have got to the city before we would have?
No. On the side of the bank they would have to skirt a bit of a marsh before they can then cross another river to cross over to your side.
So the chances are they haven't reached the city yet.
They haven't reached the city yet, more than likely.
Well, that's good to know. That gives us a slight advantage to lose ourselves.
So Cressida says, once we can enter the city, we can go to my private house, and from there we can rest and regroup and plan the next move.
Does your private house have your private house known to other members of your family who want to kill you?
I'm afraid it is, she says, yes.
Do you have any friends?
I do trust everybody in the household. They have been with my family for a number of years, and they are all hand-picked people.
Yes, but in the last town we were in, there was a large number of assailants, and I know we did come to your aid, and I guess you could say that we saved you, but we couldn't have done it without the death of an awful lot of your guards.
Yes, that was unfortunate. I was surprised that I was only given 3 Imperial Guards, and we relied on Radcliffe City Watch for the rest of the force. Perhaps that might have been the plan all along.
Forgive me for asking, but what manner of an eye could draw the attention of such a large number of foes willing to lay themselves to such abundant slaughter?
The eye is, as I said, is the treasure of the first emperor.
Yes, but what is it?
It is reported. She reaches into her cloak and she pulls out a cloth, because she'd taken it out of the boat. She unwraps the cloth, and there is this fist-sized jewel, oval-shaped, in a gold setting.
Right, but what
and she
about
holds
the
it
eye?
up. This is the eye, she says.
What manner of a creature has an eye like that? It looks like it's made of glass.
It's just a name for it, Cat.
Oh,
It's
sorry, you broke up there, babe.
it's what we would call a metaphor.
Right. I'm already on it, I understand.
She said,
But even for something as expensive as that, they're still going out of their way.
this is where the prophecy comes in, she says. This is what of only one but a pair. This fell to earth in a star hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
So there's
And
another eye.
the prophecy is its partner is due to fall to earth at any time, and when brought together, these two can unleash such power as the world has never seen. And if you look at it now, she says, and this is like a green gem. She says, you haven't seen this before, but this gem, as the prophecy says, is darkening as it gets to time for it to be reunited with its partner.
And are your enemies seeking the other one?
They will seek both.
So, it has like a tongue for the other sense. Or a nose. No, I'm confused. There are. Two eyes.
2 eyes. 2 eyes.
Right.
Yes.
That's not that imaginative, is it? I would think you'd give them different names.
Maybe they had different names long ago, but now they're only known as the Eye. Well,
Right.
this one is known as the Eye of the Emperor.
And it has some magic, does it not?
That is what the prophecy says.
And you drew on that magic to tell some futures.
It did aid me.
So you could
It's one of the prophesied.
You could see into the plane of future.
I can see normally anyway, but it becomes easier with the eye close.
Like a focus.
Yes, if you will.
Well, you can pick that up at any tin pot temple.
Do you want a break for a drink and a fag?
Yes.
She was doing the hand signals and
All
Couple
right.
minutes then.
We will be right back, folks. Bill and Ronnie were right. I can't play a horrible character. I forgot at the start of the session. I was a bit too cocky with it. You hear me screaming, or you hear somebody else screaming in explosions. You're right.
intelligence is 14. You went with the stick method, not the carrot. Give him an incentive. It was a bit harsh with the wedding thing. Anyway, the intention of direct onto Ronnie because he still paid 8 gold for something shit. Like, classes there. Oh, right, please. Anyway, I'm not negotiating a wedding so far because I've not once mentioned that it's a wedding. Which is great negotiation, by the way. It's not, it's just something that somebody else told me. Or several people have told me. It's like, don't mention it's a wedding. Yeah, absolutely. Because then they go, oh, it's the W word, we'll put it up by loads.
Oh, green again.
DM Smash, DM Hulk. Although I did that way too slow because you've returned to normal colour.
I have. But it's very grainy there. I'll see if I can dig up my other camera.
Oh, thank God it's a map
What's the map?
of Huthwaite.
a map of Huthwaite. Yes, it is.
I was getting a tad disorientated with all the directions. So, yay.
What on earth is that? So we all back ready?
Hey.
Okay.
Ready.
So Cassandra will carry on talking to Kat and say that you might find Huthwaite quite different to other places you've been. We cannot openly oppose the Emperor here. Equally, he will not openly oppose me. It will be a more subtle game.
I've never really gotten games. I'm not very good at that kind of thing. But I don't oppose the Emperor. I've never met him.
No. I think it is more a case of if you are going to be civil and he is going to be civil, then fine.
Yes. It might be better if you do not come to his attention, direct attention anyway. So how long are you going to wait till sort of like evening meal sort of time, you said, to enter the city?
Yeah, depending on how quickly the sun sets this time of year, I was just suggesting round about sunset.
Okay. Okay. So you can enter the city. On that map I did send in, the road into the city there on the bottom left hand corner is the one you're coming in on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Pull near, you see the guards are sort of like coming towards the end of the day. They're getting towards the end of the shift. They're getting a little bit bored. They want to go. They're not watching the road that strictly at the moment. They're stopping every so many people and asking them, what are you going to do about Lady Cassandra's clothes? Were you going to do something about that, or?
We could just put a
Well,
blanket around her for the moment.
It's a bit late now, isn't it? Because we didn't actually manage to get any spares. So.
Do we have a blanket we can just wrap around her?
You could have a blanket. I mean, I'm sure you've got something in your kit, or you can throw around your shoulders.
Yeah, there we go. Just wrap her up.
Yeah, sure.
What did I say?
You keep saying Cassandra.
Oh, sorry, it is Cressida. Sorry.
Okay.
Did I pick the wrong woman up?
Another random person coming along called Cassandra.
Cressida. Sorry. Yep, that is.
No rush to get to the bars. We picked up the wrong one.
So yeah, you can, as you approach the city, you see some guards. They're lounging by the gate, and they're not particularly interested in what's going on around them. People are passing through. But you're going to be plodding in on not really sort of like the riding horses that are usually around. They're sort of more agricultural type of animals, especially the one that was put in the cart. So you might stand out a little bit. No, you didn't. So you can actually pass through the gate quite easily. One of the guards will actually just glance at you and sort of look at you individually as you go through the gate, but they won't actually stop you. Once inside the city, Cressida moves up through the group. She says, you follow me and I'll take you to my house. And she leads you through some quite well tended streets. This is quite a wealthy, prosperous city. And she leads you up to a gate, which she doesn't dismount. She raps on the gate from where she is on the horse, and a small window opens in the door in the gateway, and She talks for a brief second, and the door opens, and you're led into a courtyard, a walled courtyard, with a quite a grand house in behind it. And she dismounts. She says, "Please, my friends, please come inside." And this is the first time you've ever heard her say "please" to anybody.
And she called us friends.
And she called you
She's done that
friends.
a couple of times, actually. Called us friends.
She says, "Once we're inside," she says, I can reward you properly for your help, and we can discuss future plans. I have more to ask of you."
More.
So
Wow.
we brought into the house, and she says, "If you would like to stay here, I'll have the servants make up rooms for you." And she issues some orders, and people start running around all over the place. She says, "I've ordered food."
They put makeup on rooms.
They are making the room special for us.
She said, once they return, they will take you to your rooms, and you can freshen up before an evening meal. After the meal, I would like to talk to all of you together. And I would just like to say thank you for getting me home. I didn't expect this trip to be anything like this, and for so many people to die, it has shaken me in ways I never thought were possible. And she'll turn and walk away with her handmaid and leave you in the hall. And after only a short time, servants will come in and lead you off to your rooms. And each of you have been given quite a grand room, a large bed. What you would normally in your normal lives, your whole family would be living in a house smaller than this room is.
Ooh, let's get used to this.
After a short rest, there's water and there's wine and there's fruit in each room. And after a
Where's the
short
window
time,
look out to? My room window, where does it look onto?
your window is at the back of the house, and it looks out onto a really large garden. It almost goes off into, it's almost a park inside the city. It's almost, the house is almost like a compound, quite high walled, probably built for some degree of defence.
The moment I'm alone in the room, I'm gonna finally take off this damned mask and start unraveling these bindings that I cover myself with. And if anybody was observing, and I check around the room to make sure they aren't, it would soon be revealed that this
You're a dog.
cat has no fur.
No fur.
Has no fur. Even though she does talk about her fur.
That's no fair.
And
Wow.
finally free of those blasted bindings, I start giving myself a bath by licking myself.
Okay. How long would that sort of thing take for you to do?
Well, it won't take long to take bindings off. The bath will take a while because I'll probably fall asleep for a couple of hours in the middle.
Because there's going to be a knock on the door very shortly, and a servant outside will call out, when you're ready, there's food available downstairs in the hall, and Lady Carissa will be waiting for you.
Oh, I will come down when I'm ready. I'll start putting the bindings back on and the stockings and everything I use to cover myself up.
Okay. By the time you make it downstairs, everybody else is gathered around the table. and it's probably the finest meal that you've had in quite a while. And you can have as much or as little as you want. You can drink as much as you want. There's been no limit, and Lady Cressida is very friendly with all of you. After the meal, which just goes by with chit chat and just general light-hearted joking. The trip has been mentioned a few times, but Lady Cressida is keen that any serious conversation is left till after the meal. And after the meal, she says, "Right, I do need to talk to you now, and quite seriously about your futures." She says, "I have gold here for each of you for your services that you have rendered so far. And but what I'm going to ask you is that you serve me further and find this second stone, the twin of the one I have. It's going to be a long and dangerous trip, but I'm afraid it's necessary."
Do you have any idea as to where it's going to be landed?
There are scrolls that tell us where this is going to happen. You are going to have to acquire these scrolls. I will not be able to be involved.
One guess as to who currently owns the scrolls?
Quite possibly.
Yes, the scrolls are in the palace, or in the palace grounds. They're held in the archive, which is within the palace grounds. Not within the palace itself, but within the palace grounds.
I do have a question. You talked
Which
about
is?
these eyes having immeasurable power when combined. Surely the most sensible thing to do is to destroy the one we have so that nobody gains such power.
The prophecy tells that the eyes will be able to restore the fortunes of the empire and make everything right in the world.
Do you not have enough
It's
fortunes
only-
already?
I'm talking about the for everybody, the normal people of the world, not just people of my class.
Well, in that case, why don't you hand yours over to the Emperor, since he is obviously looking for the second one?
I fear that the Emperor's intentions for the second eye, or both eyes, are not as good as what mine are. I believe he will use this power to become a god, effectively. He's read some old legends of emperors who have proclaimed themselves gods in the past, and he actually wants to do that. The only way we can stop him and sort this out is by getting both of the eyes and using it ourselves. Do you think you could do this?
Unlikely. We'll probably die trying.
It does sound extremely difficult. Once we have the scrolls, we then need to work out where on earth it could be, and even then the scrolls could be...
The scrolls should indicate where the second star will fall. All you should need to do then is get there first. Get the star and return.
I was going to say, we have the disadvantage. The fact that these scrolls are in the grounds means that he's probably already memorized their location. He's just simply waiting.
I believe that The scrolls aren't quite that obvious. They do require a certain amount of interpretation. Possessing the eye now gives us an advantage in with my power in seeing, being able to interpret those scrolls more accurately than what the Emperor or his minions can.
Our friend does bring up a good point, though, but the reverse is possibly true as well. We do run the risk that in attempting to get the scrolls for ourselves for you to interpret, the Emperor may very well have people waiting for us to do the work for him, then simply nip in.
This is why I've asked you. You have proven yourselves in the past few days to be people of great resourcefulness and skill and courage,
Yes.
which are
Yes.
is going to be needed for the forthcoming adventure.
Although I hasten to bring up the fact that we have an elf with a very interesting way of trying to communicate with people who are behind it. And I have to say, myself, who hasn't quite worked out the difference between gold and silver,
If
we're not without flaws, my lady.
and no one is, but the good we could do with this power is immeasurable. In exact opposition to the evil that could be done with this power.
Do you think the Emperor would do it for evil, not good?
The Emperor has more concerns over himself than he does for his people.
I like to think of myself as a good creature, but I doubt those creatures that I eat think I'm good. It's always a matter of perspective.
That may be true. But you can see what our opposition is willing to do just to possess one of these stones.
What if both are destroyed?
You may be able to destroy one with the other one, but I don't believe it is possible to destroy one with what we have at the moment.
Shame, because if both were destroyed, then all of these feuds would come to an end. There'd be nothing to fight for.
With just one stone, one of the eyes, then the other one should return to just a normal gem. It is only because it is approaching its brother that it is changing. Once it reaches total black and you can see the stars reflected into it, then it is ready to be used. But sleep on it. Please consider your options. I do beg that you help me in this. I have no other greater resources than what you have proven yourselves to be. But in the meantime, please take some reward for your current services. And she indicates to one of the servants, and he turns to the sideboard, the dresser in the room, and he comes over with a big tray, and on it there are 5 bags. And she says, "Gold for all of you for services rendered."
I open the bag and have a look in to see what's in it.
Okay, yes, you can see it is a bag of gold. Looks like pretty freshly minted imperial coins.
Okay, so right, this is gold color.
Yes,
That is
that
gold.
is a gold piece.
You might be 8 short, but
Clearly, I'm colorblind.
Well, you are an elf, right? Maybe your currencies.
Oh, sorry,
A bit rough.
I'm really losing connection here. Uh-oh.
Oh, there you go. You're coming back.
Yeah, we're back? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Just you've been given quite a hefty bag.
Mm.
It's a leather bag tied at the top, but it is quite.
I lift that onto my lap and then I lift a roast chicken onto that.
Can we?
Because I haven't eaten during the meal.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, because my mask moves enough for me to talk, but not really eat. Like, well, you know, it's a slit.
If you can have things brought to your room.
It's okay, I have a chicken.
Can we gauge roughly how many gold pieces are in these bags?
You think there's going to be somewhere between 800 and 900 each.
So definitely more than.
Definitely more than 8.
That's
Yes, you
good.
can count past that.
Yeah, there's no decimal point in there.
She's paying you well, very well, but she is a wealthy woman. It's not entirely without thought to you helping in the future. Might be a bit of a down payment on services to be rendered.
Okay. I'm going to take
That's
the
what I
bag
thought.
and the chicken up to my room. I leave the rest of the conversation there. I immediately rip off the mask and I'm eating a chicken. I rip a chicken leg off and I'm eating that whilst I take the bindings and stockings and everything else off.
Meanwhile, I wine.
And the servants are there every time you hold your cup up.
Oh, okay. Is there a more is there like a more comfortable place to sit? Like are there sort of armchairs or anything?
Move across to the sitting room, and there'll be a big fire in there for when the evening gets chilly, and big armchairs and couches and very comfortable, warm, a little bit dark. And she says, if you wish to smoke, please carry on. And she actually goes to the mantelpiece herself and takes down a silver pipe and actually smokes that.
I'm going to take the pouch
Yes,
of
I
gold.
think I might join that.
Take the pouch of gold and go back to my room
Okay.
and count it.
So how many people are staying down?
I'll stay.
Rorik staying
I'll stay
down.
for a little while.
Hadarai is Bayor.
They are staying down.
Okay, so the three of you are with Cressida. The servants offer you smoke and more alcohol.
As more booze.
Take it easy there, Hadarai. Hadarai.
I'm perfectly fine, thank you.
So
You're supposed to savor wine like this, man.
I am savouring it. I am merely savouring it in vast quantity.
Do you think this is an offer you would be interested in, Rorik?
Well, in some ways, yes, very much so, my lady. However, there are 5 of us, and each of us have our motives, you understand.
I do.
I am a little dubious as well about this plan. There are many ways we could fail.
If you can think of a better plan, please.
Well,
I'd be
I am not familiar at all with these prophecies that you know of. I don't know anything about them.
It's stated that twin stars would fall to Earth. One fell before the other, and this is the eye that we currently have. Once the second star falls, they can be joined to create an awesomely powerful force that can be used for several things, for good, for bad, to bring the gods back to the world. There is in the prophecy there is nothing that these stones cannot do.
Well, we have the possibility of getting the scrolls, but that, well, it involves us going to these grounds undercover. But
There are, I mean, the palace grounds are huge. They are the size of the city themselves.
Well, I was just thinking, do you know of any stargazers? Any astronomers who could perhaps plot a course for this star?
Very interesting. Yes, I'm sure we can find some.
Because even if we do go out to get the scrolls, we'll at least have some head start as to where they will go, and then we can be heading straight there, not waste any more time, no delays.
That might be a very interesting way of looking at it. Yes, I hadn't thought of that. I will make inquiries first thing in the morning.
Very well. In the meantime, I'm happy to smoke. I think the elf, the wine might be a bit strong for him, which I apologize.
The wine is perfectly fine.
She whispers. She leans forward slightly and whispers to Rorik. He does have a bit of a reputation.
Ah, I see. Where I come from, we can hold our drink a little better.
Is a very nice vintage. So what, Lady Cressida? What was it you were saying about bringing gods back?
It's one of the prophecies that the stones can return the gods to the world. And I believe that this is what the Emperor is relying on to make him a god, that they will return and make him a god.
I'm sorry, the Emperor sounds like a complete loon.
Be careful when you say that.
Is it not supposed to be you earn your place amongst the gods? They just don't grant it because you give them a house call.
I think the power of these jewels, Hadorai, might make it an exception if used in a certain way.
Right.
Think of it a bit like, I don't know, a special key. And you're granted this key, and nobody else has one.
You understand Rourke's suggestion earlier that these two eyes be destroyed is actually sounding far more palatable now.
As I said, she says, I don't know that we could actually destroy them. I don't know that we have the power.
If we find a way, would you have our faith to do this?
It would be extremely disappointing. I was hoping to use these things for some amount of good in the world, to restore the Empire to its former glory and to cure the sick.
Lady Cressida, Lady Cressida, can I give you a piece of friendly advice? May I give you a piece of friendly advice?
You may carry on.
I nearly choke on my wine when it says that.
It's like these eyes are like a good strong Bordeaux. You might think it's a very nice vintage, but there's every possibility that, like me, you might get a bit drunk on it. I
And
worry
that,
about people getting drunk on the power.
Which is what I'm afraid is going to happen if we let these fall in the wrong hands.
Yes. What's that old saying? The path to ruin is paved with good intentions. Something like that.
Something similar to that, yes, I believe. So Bayor, what how do you feel? Can I rely on your sword?
You can indeed. I am no master thief. My stealth is yes,
It's
lacking.
lucky that I think your group has that sort of thing covered.
But once we have the scroll, I'm quite happy to go looking for this second eye. And once we have them, they should be in the hands of the person least likely to be evil with them.
I thank you. If you would like to again sleep on your decision, you are quite welcome to. But the help you've given me has been so much so far that I hope you continue.
Yes. Would it be possible for the servants to launder my clothes?
Yes, certainly.
Especially my tabard.
Yes.
A bit
If you'd like to
grubby.
leave your armor out, the armor can polish your armor and repair anything you need. Any of your weapons need cleaning, any of your clothes need cleaning.
Yes, they do actually.
There is a household of staff waiting to aid you.
Thank you, my lady.
So, what's Kat and James doing? You just gone straight to bed and straight to sleep, or?
No.
Yeah, I've had a bath and I'm currently slept on the windowsill.
Right, I'm going to count the coin.
Okay, you got about 850 in your bag.
Right. Okay, so while I'm doing that, I'm going to be considering this whole situation because I'm sure everybody's going to be jumping at the chance to help. But see, my problem is that it's fair enough that he wants this second eye because, but how do we know we're not going to be giving it straight to the people that would be using it for the worst reasons? And I'm not willing to. My opinion, if we find it, I'm happy to go look for this scrolls. I'm happy to find this eye, but if we find it, I'm willing to throw it away or lose it, so nobody can have it. Because that kind of power doesn't deserve to be in anybody's hand. Don't care who they say they are. But I'm keeping that to myself. That's what's going through my mind at the moment.
Okay.
Because I'm, at the end of the day, I'm considering that I'm probably going to be fundamental in getting these scrolls.
Yeah.
But I have reservations about the fact that that's so much power to be given to one person. That's just, for me, that just leads to all sorts of issues.
Are you going to do anything else before you retire? Anybody? Or
I would
have to while away the evening?
I would probably whisk Hadarai away in a few minutes, especially if he keeps making those deep conversations with the lady. Encourage him to bed.
Yeah.
I was finishing my wine and then heading off anyway. So
Yeah, you
I
can
head
turn him
off
over
to
to
bed.
the servants as well once you get outside the room, and they can take him away, and you can go off to your room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good evening. I will go to bed myself and see you in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't so much go into my bed as sort of dive onto it. Well, sort of plank-like, just fall into it.
Sleep dressed and. Okay, so In the morning, you can all be wakened by soft knocks on the doors and the servants asking you down to breakfast, which you can take at the same table as you had your evening meal last night. Cressida is not there; she's eating in her room. But again, it's as much as you want to drink. There's no alcohol for you this morning, I'm afraid, Aderai.
I will have. Could you find a very large flagon of water, please?
But they can do that quite easily. It's still quite early in the morning where you hear a bit of a commotion outside, and a servant comes rushing in and talks to like the head butler in the room, and the guy that rushed in the door then goes straight upstairs, and the butler turns to you and says, "It appears we have some visitors at the gate."
What sort of visitors?
Imperial Guard have arrived.
Does Our Lady know that they're coming?
I think she's just being informed.
And the same guy that ran upstairs comes down seconds later and runs outside. And he says, "I've been told to let them in."
What the bloody hell?
Well, they said they were civil with each other.
So a troop of these golden armored knights come into the courtyard, all riding horses, banners, a lot of pomp, a lot of ceremony. They've obviously paraded through the city in this fashion. 2 columns of horses. They come in and circle the yard a little bit, and almost and stop outside the door, where one dismounts and walks to the steps and stays at the bottom of the steps. It's not long before Cressida comes down the stairs and says, "Please, will you follow me? We will need to see what these people want." And she walks to the front door, out to the top of the steps. When she stops at the top of the steps, the guard that the knight that dismounted immediately kneels, goes down to one knee and bows his head and says, "Lady, I bring greetings from the Emperor. He has requested an audience with you and your newfound friends."
Sir Baelor, get closer.
Yes.
So, if you would like to prepare, we will be leaving shortly for the palace. And you can see that there are 5 empty horses and a palanquin in the procession.
I take it we don't really have a choice in the matter.
There are a lot of soldiers here, and more outside the gates. Cressida turns to you and says, "We better go. I don't think we're in any danger at the moment. It will be, like I said, this will not be open. If anything happens, it will be secretive."
Where are you putting the eye? I mean, are you taking it with you? That's dangerous. Are you leaving it here? That's dangerous.
I think I'm going to have to leave it here hidden. I cannot risk taking it to the palace.
Hide it more than that.
How big is it?
It's the fist size, but the setting outside makes it a little bit bigger than that. Maybe an inch bigger than your fist.
Assume they're sending a rogue of exceptional talent.
Do you not have any underground vaults?
We have cellars, and we have hidden places in the walls, places to hide people, and we have a treasure vault.
Well, one thought did strike me, if it works, but these golden armored soldiers, they don't know how many. One of us could easily slip away, take the eye, and follow on.
Presently, all of you are standing at the top of the steps.
Never mind then.
For the
They
city.
had like 5, didn't they? They had 5 horses and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
Okay.
And hide it in your prison wallet.
So she says, I will hide the eye as securely as I can. I will need a couple of minutes.
Okay.
And she disappears into the house and she turns and says, I suggest you get your stuff ready. You can take your arms to the palace, but you will not be allowed to go in front of the Emperor armed.
What should I do with the staff? Should I bring it?
If you could bring the staff, they might not know. If there are any magic users there, they might identify it, but I don't know if there would be any in presence there today. I don't know.
It would cost
Cat.
him a pearl to identify.
Cat,
Yes.
when someone takes you up the stairs, hold their arm as you go up the stairs, and when you return with the staff, walk with it as if it's a walking.
Oh, I see. Like one of those games.
Yeah.
Yes. Like
So-
a game.
Cressida disappears off into the house alone to return a couple of minutes later.
Come, Cat. I will aid you up the stairs. Come,
Okay.
I'll aid you back to your room.
When do I pounce?
Just hang on to my arm and act as if you're slightly lame in one of your lower legs.
Okay, I do that, but when do I pounce?
Not yet. This is a game of patient waiting. I will give you the signal.
Are the rest of you going armed or not?
Armed and armoured.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, armed.
I don't go anywhere without my shield.
Okay, so you can meet outside. You're shown to horses, and Lady Cressida is shown to her palanquin, and you profess through the city, across the bridge to the palace. It's as you cross the river, you can see the palace, the outer wall of the palace, rising before you. And as you pass through it, you notice how thick this wall is as well. It is a substantial fortress in itself. You are taken through by many roads inside the palace to cross a moat, and in front of you is a huge building, very ornately decorated, lots and lots of windows. The people tending gardens everywhere. Everything is perfect. Everything is just in its place, as you know, to make it almost like a pristine landscape. The gardens inside the walls are extensive. I mean, really extensive. There are ponds and fountains and magnificent buildings, and just people just wandering around. It's almost like a paradise here. When you get to the palace, you are shown inside and made to wait in an entrance hall for a few minutes before being led up a really wide set of marble stairs, maybe 10 people wide. And at the top are some ornate golden doors which are swung open. And just inside there are some armor-suited men, and they say, you will have to leave your weapons here.
Take off my
Yeah.
sword belt.
I
Take mine
stand
off.
motionless, holding the staff.
And they are put on tables that line the walls.
I'm
Your
going
weapons-
to basically sleight of hand a dagger on my person.
Go on then.
My fast hand. I think it does something for me. I don't know what fast hands do. What does fast hand? Does it do anything? Fast hand and is 6, and I rolled a 11, so 17.
Okay. They one of the guards stops you, and he says, Come on, and the rest of it.
Okay, I'll move my hand across the table, slight hand it again back in my waist. What's the point of having a sleight of hand if you're not going to use it? Oh, it's a 14, so that's a 20.
Okay, so that was a really bad roll. So he accepts the dagger and puts it on the table. He says, "Don't try that again."
Yeah, I picked it up and took it back and put it in my waist. It was a roll of 20.
Another set of doors is pushed open, and there is a large, long room ending in a dais and a throne. The room is lined with the court, effectively pretty richly dressed people, and Cressida beckons you up the red carpet that runs up the middle of the room. As she reaches the bottom of the dais, she curtsies very lowly, and what do you do?
I hobble in with
Give-
the staff.
Uh,
Hobbling in.
Given my heritage, given my family background, do I recognise anyone?
You probably do recognise some people in the crowd, yes.
Okay.
Maybe even family.
Hmm.
And when I
Get the goss from them.
up
Get the
to
goss from them later.
when I get up to the dais, when I hold in all the way on with the staff, and I get up to the dais, and then I see the curtsy, and I see the men bowing, and I get confused as to what I should do, and I kind of do a semi both.
But okay, when you do that, a sort of murmur goes through the crowd. Ooh.
I would do the salute the domain of silver before bowing.
Okay, and the Emperor will nod to you when you do that. What's everybody else doing? Superior?
I bow.
Yeah. Bow.
I'm just going to nod.
I make a
Nod.
Yeah.
well, mine's very much a theatrical.
Okay. As you nod, someone starts forward from the crowd to walk towards you, but the Emperor just flicks his hands. He's got his hands resting on the arm of the chair like that, and as that person walks out from the crowd, he just flicks his hand up like that, and they stop and return to where they were. He says, "My lady, please rise." And Cressida stands tall, and she says, "I take it these are the people that aided you in your troubled journey from Radcliffe." And she says, "Yes. If it wasn't for these people, I would not have made it back to Huthwaite." He says, "What has happened in Radcliffe and what has befallen you on your way back has reached our ears. We are greatly troubled by what has happened to you," he says. "I can only thank the five of you for aiding my mother," and he refers to her as my mother, even though it's a stepmother, "in returning to us. She is of great value to us. She has been sorely missed in her time away, and I don't know how we would have coped without her counsel if she had not returned."
Can I attempt a perception to see if I can tell if he's actually completely lying through his arse about that?
You can.
10, 14.
14. Okay, you think he's being upfront and honest about that?
Really? Oh, okay.
He says he looks down at Cressida and he says, "After your time away, I believe you would like to visit your son now." And she says, "Yes." He says, "I would like to visit him if I have your permission." He says, "Certainly visit him. I have heard he is doing quite well at the moment. But I'm sure seeing you will be a great comfort to him. Please." And he indicates that she should go and visit her son. After she's gone, he says to you, "Your help in aiding my mother has been of great value to the entire empire." He says, "I will reward you for doing this. I would like to bestow upon each and every one of you an estate. I do not know what we would have done if you had not returned her to us. You are obviously people of great resourcefulness.
Yes, apparently.
Well, we never have to work again. That's nice.
The Chamberlain will have the papers drawn up, and you all have estates either here or outside of Radcliffe. Do you know what happened to the treasure that you were transporting back to Huthwaite?
The river took it.
It's lost. That is a shame. We heard that the barge you were travelling had been burnt. It was found by a number of river traders, and the whole crew appeared to be dead, apparently. So it is with great sadness that we face the loss of the eye, and perhaps now the prophecy will lie unfulfilled. It is a great shame to the whole empire.
Sire,
Yes, Hadorai.
many people lost their lives in the attack on the barge.
They did. I've already put a reward out for the pirates that did this.
I would ask that rather than bestow any favor upon myself, as grateful as I am for your generosity, could you perhaps make tokens of restitution to the families of those who have lost loved ones on the boat?
That is a very kind offer from you, Hadorai. I applaud your concern for these poor people. I will do this since you ask.
Thank
Your
you,
share,
sir.
your estate will. The value of it will go to the families of the people that have lost out in this. But I will bestow upon you the freedom of Huthwaite. You can play anywhere you want, and if anyone challenges you, you refer them to me.
You are most gracious, sire.
You are all looked favourably upon by the Empire. Is there anything else you would ask of us?
Do I pounce now?
Not yet.
If there is nothing else, then you are quite welcome to wander in the gardens of the palace for a while and take your ease for as long as you wish.
Most
I
gracious,
can only
sire.
thank you again for the service you have bestowed upon the Empire.
Again, I give a somewhat theatrical bow.
Mm-hmm. And if you wish to leave, then you can collect your weapons on the way out, and you have free run of the gardens for however long you want to stay there.
I won't leave.
Yeah, I'll leave.
Yeah.
I need to get out of earshot of all these nobles.
Is someone going to drag Cat away, or is Cat just going to stand there?
No, we're going to drag Cat away,
Yes,
I'm
drag,
sure.
drag.
With the stick.
We're still part of the pouncing game. Let's go.
Cat, can you roll perception for me?
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute.
I can't succeed, but I can roll it.
Okay. Okay. You get just a
2 in character.
if you had any hair on the back of your neck, they would be standing up just as you walk out, but you're not entirely sure why.
I had a shudder, like somebody walked over the graves of one of my 8 lives that have already been spent.
Is anybody else here rather taken aback by that reward?
Yes, hence
Yes, I
my
meant to ask, what is an estate?
Car.
It's a big box.
Gotcha.
it's a big box that earns you money that you then have to give a part of back to the Emperor.
Feels like more of a bribe than it does a.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Hence
wondering the
why
same.
hence why I was so rather eager to get rid of it.
You
Well-
can see, not close to where you are at the moment, but there are guards dotted around all over the place, and servants rushing around, and it's quite a busy. Outside
I'm
the
going to
throne,
take a
it's quite
stroll around
busy
the garden, I
palace.
think.
Yeah, in as hushed tones as I am able, I state the blindingly obvious. You do realise that if any move is made on the lady now, we have no way of getting
No way of what, sorry?
to her. There's no way we can
No.
No, but
protect her now.
we can go to the gardens and we can do the thing.
Yes, I'm sure. I will find something for you to pounce on. I will make it my mission in life.
But yes, I'm
So you,
worried we've handed her over for good.
That worries me.
are you just standing sort of inside the palace on the stairs talking or
Walking
something?
No,
towards
I
the
would
garden.
move away.
We're heading towards the garden.
Okay, so you can head out toward, you can head outside the palace, and you can
We announce our opinions on the stairs.
you can find space enough away from people to talk privately quite easily.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm rather hoping that in the gardens we can find some excellent examples of top, because it will
There
give
are
cats
excellent
something to.
examples of topiary.
Yeah, which give cats something to pounce on.
Cat may be interested in the carp in the pools.
Distracted only
Head
but for a
shape.
moment.
That chicken shaped hedge over there. Go for it.
Yeah, the gardens
Don't
are
be
extensive
daft.
and
I know how
varied.
to play a cripple, you old boot. 8 gold pieces.
So the palace is basically surrounded by its own moat, but there are 3 bridges over this moat, so you can walk across one of these bridges out into the extensive gardens wherever you feel like it.
Did we have any idea of whereabouts these things are hidden?
Well, you haven't asked anybody,
I'm not going to ask you.
Why would
Well,
we?
no, but you can ask you can ask other questions, can't you? You could say, where's the treasury? Where's the library? Where's the
I'm not going to ask where the treasury is.
Where's the fancy ass papers in the archive?
So the library is probably where they're hidden, I guess.
She said the archives.
Which is
So
probably
yes, it
the
would be a
library.
subset.
If we're going to hide something in plain sight, then obviously the best place to hide that would be, amongst other things, similar, I guess. We'll head towards the library and we'll ask where the library, unless there's a sign.
Yeah, you can ask. I mean, like I said, there's guards around. There's gardeners. There's servants rushing around all over the place, and they can say that if you look at the map you've been sent, you can see at the left-hand side of the palace area, there's a lot of buildings there next to the wall, but just inside of that, there's a set of square buildings with a central building. That is the Imperial Archive.
Right. Are we allowed into the Imperial Archive?
Go ahead. I thought I saw members of my family. I would like to. I'd like to get news of my family and perhaps get some insight on the situation here from them.
Okay, you can possibly do that. What would you like to know from them?
I'm most interested on their view of the Emperor, their real view of the Emperor, not the one that they actually show to the Emperor, and their actual view of the Lady Cressida. I want to get what I really want. I want to get a sense of, I suppose, the propaganda that's been. So I've got a feeling there's going to be a propaganda set that the Emperor will have set out a particular story.
You want to know what the rumor is?
I want to know what the story behind the rumor is.
Okay. So, after a bit of searching around, you can possibly find someone you know, or is it a particular member of your family you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We say you can find a member of your family.
Yeah.
Because you have connections
Thanks.
here. There are quite a well-connected family. There are a few people here. They have ministerial jobs, as well as just hangers-on at court for the more vapid of them.
Yeah. Oh
So, yeah.
God, my family's got groupies. Suppose it had to happen sooner or later.
Had I haven't seen you in years.
It's good to see you again, my friend. What
are you doing? What are you doing here? I thought you'd given up all this for your music.
Well, I had. I was doing a nice bit of traveling. All of a sudden, I was traveling upriver. I met the Lady Cressida, and you know, I can't say no to a beautiful woman. What can I say?
You're one of the people that brought her back to the city.
Well, I would love to claim that I was actually one of them. I think, in all honesty, I was more one of the people who just happened to be riding alongside when they got here. I can't say that I was particularly helpful with them, particularly with my colour blindness, but I really need to sort that out.
Yes, well, I never thought I'd see you back here anyway.
Well, I never thought I'd see this place again. But it's now. It's good to be back. Yes, the Emperor was incredibly generous.
Well, yes. I mean, he is. I mean, especially where his family are involved.
Yes, I mean it's. You know, it's odd. It's odd. I mean, when you've played the kind of back alley taverns that I've had to play sometimes, you hear the darndest things.
Like what?
Oh, you know, a bit like any family. I mean, it's you know what our family's like. I mean, we're all smiles and airs and graces.
You mean
when we're around other people, and once the door's closed, we can't stand each other, and we're shouting and screaming at them. And you know,
the rumor about the friction between the Lady Cressida and the Emperor.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that whole rumor stems from the fact that she wants her son to be emperor rather than the emperor. But she's got quite a bit of power at the moment. So
I mean, what's the son like? I mean, I'm not making any. I'm not questioning or anything. I'm just, you know, is it just blind nepotism on her part, or does he does he have some expertise that would make him a suitable emperor? Should he be?
She loves her son, obviously, but he has always been quite sickly.
Ah, yes. Yes, not the best of candidates, is he?
Not really. No, not really. But you know, he's at the palace being tended by the finest doctors in the land. So who
What
knows? It
about
might get
this?
better.
What about this eye that he mentioned when he was greeting us all?
Well, that was going to be the big treasure. I mean, it was hoped that the eye would restore the fortunes of the emperor of the empire. I mean, yeah, sort of like bolster the subjects and restore some honor and give
So it
everyone a
wasn't just going
boost.
to it wasn't just going to feed the emperor's coffers then.
Well, no, I'm sure it'll be kept in the treasury. I mean, it's been expanded lately. I mean, they seem to be making quite a lot of money. You don't keep a place like this running on thin air, do you? But no,
Ooh,
I mean,
how's he doing that? I mean, from what I saw, I mean, farm production, and so on seems to be doing rather well. Is he
it's
taxing fairly?
yes, I think. But the problem is what's happening outside. The borders are between you and me collapsing. Pressure from outside the empire is getting really really bad.
Anyone in particular we should be looking at?
It seems to be coming from the east. There's a lot of trouble to the east. The border forts are being overwhelmed one by one. A lot of the money's going that way at the moment, but if you ask a lot
So
of
he has a
people,
war chest.
there's not a lot of soldiers being paid for. He seems to be, I don't know, he's young. Doesn't take advice well sometimes.
I see.
Lady
Does
Crest
he
has been
have a war
pushing
council?
a war council. No, he doesn't have a war council. The Lady Crest has been pushing for more military funding, but he's just been thrown in the treasury. Sorry, treasuries now.
Treasuries. Plural?
Yes.
All here, or is he stretching them out?
No, all here. All here. It's the safest place in the realm. The top right hand corner of the palace is basically a fort in itself. It's basically a castle, and it only forms a small portion of this palace. But that's where the
I
Imperial
see.
Guard are based, and they could hold this palace for years.
I see. Yes. Sadly, I do see. Enough of such terrible talk of warlike climbs. And I just get into small talk about
Yeah,
family.
it's great to see you again. We will go for a drink.
Yes, and we'll. We go for a drink and just talk family. So
Yeah.
conversation can
Did you
switch.
ask
to
him where the archive was?
No.
Okay. So, what do you want to make of that information, if anything, or what else do you want to know from other people?
Well, I'm going to walk up to a flunky and say, "Where's the Imperial Archive, and are visitors allowed?"
He'll say the Imperial Archive. He'll tell you where it is, and he'll say, "Well, it sort of depends why you want to go in. You might get that in."
Good. I'll go there.
Yeah, I'll follow. I'll be checking
So
the place out as well.
You've got to cross a few bridges, and you actually pass a section where there are 6 quite sturdily built square buildings sitting in a patch of land. And these seem to be quite heavily guarded, these 6 buildings.
I know the archives, or they're just building.
Well, you don't know what they are, but they're not the archive because that's not where you've been directed to.
Right.
So you take a right turn there, and you walk up a road over another bridge, and on your left you actually see a lot of quite official-looking buildings, and this is sort of like the administrative centre of the empire. And across the road from that another series of buildings, but with a more square building set into the courtyard in the middle of them, and this is the Imperial Archive. It's quite like an ornate building. It's square, but it's circled with pillars, big, like
Kind of very ornate pillows, kind of like ornamental, kind of.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
easy to climb, basically.
Well, they're not. They're like the fluted pillars, like Roman style.
Right. And is it how many stories is it? How many floors?
You can see at least 2 stories.
Right. And how much cover is around the garden nearby? Is there bushes, trees?
In the garden, yeah, there are bushes and trees, but this is actually set in the middle of the courtyard with buildings around that.
Right.
I'm just going to walk up to the door.
Mm-hmm.
And try to open it if there's no one there.
Yeah, you can push it open. It's not locked.
Okay.
And inside you can see quite a number of sort of elderly men in red robes.
Mm-hmm. I go up to the first one.
And they look at you. Can we sort of squints at you? Can we help you?
I hope so. I'm looking for the scrolls that will tell us where the second eye will fall. The first was lost to the river. I intend to find the second and use it to recover the first.
Right, okay. That's quite particular, he says. We do have those here. If you'd like to wait, I have to go and search them out. Are you allowed to do this?
Yes. Oh, you've completely broken up.
Access?
Connection issues. Hello, connection. Internet. Hello, internet. No, yes, no. Are we there?
Are you back?
Sort of. It's recovering. I see Jason's...
Jason keeps freezing.
Yep, he's back now. He's back now. Okay, we're all back. So I got, are you allowed to be here? To which I respond yes.
Okay.
I don't know if he said more after that because you broke up.
No, the Emperor forgot to give us that, but I'm sure if you run off and ask him...
Sorry. Was there more after that? Sorry?
Paperwork?
Paperwork?
Authorization.
Isn't that all in here? That's why I came.
Yeah, paperwork so you can come in and look at it.
Like I said, the Emperor forgot to give it to us. I'm sure if you run off to ask the Emperor, he'll hand it over. We're here as his guests.
Oh, you're the Emperor's guests, are you? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we'll send a boy out, and he can check with the Emperor. Yeah, okay. I'll go and look. He says.
Tell him the plan of what I'm trying to do. By all means.
Okay. Yes. He wanders off, mumbling to himself, and returns shortly with a scroll. And he says, "You won't be able to remove this from the palace." He says, "This will have to stay here."
Okay.
Here.
I've lost connection, but I think I caught the gist of that. So I will use my my 10 sheets of parchment, an ink pen, and bottle of ink. I mean, this is what a wizard's built for, right? And transcribe it.
Transcribe it word for word. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you can do that, and you can sort of peruse it later. Okay. It is now 11:10. Do you want to leave it for tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the parchment, well, you have a parchment, not the parchment, but what you need now is...
Do I reckon I could do it like to the quality of a forgery?
Do you have that sort of skill?
Well,
do you have anything like that sort of skill?
I don't... Well, 5e doesn't have a forgery skill.
It doesn't.
Deception would be the closest to
It'd be
have.
deception, yes.
I
Probably.
have the tools, and I have... I'm just wondering what my tool proficiency is, but I don't think I wrote it. Babe, I can hear you saying something.
Oh yeah,
on the
sorry.
way. Yeah.
No, I was saying, I'm sure there's a forgery kit you get as a charlatan.
There is, yeah.
charlatan
I don't
knockout.
have it. Okay, then no. I mean, the thing is, I've got inks and parchment and stuff, but
Do you want to make a sort of almost like a sleight of hand move then to try and replace the parchment with the one
to
you've
be
got?
honest, I'd need to do a good enough forgery, and I doubt very much I could. But
Okay.
I can have a go and then see what I think of it. So
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
try, because I want to do an accurate copy anyway, in case there's some detail. I've got 18.
18. Okay. Oh, you beat mine. Okay.
So
you've
yeah.
done quite a reasonable facsimile of the original.
Well, I'll
The only
accidentally
thing
get them muddled then.
Okay. So you must be there for quite some time to do this. He's quite used to having scholars in going through papers and checking stuff. So he's not particularly worried about you spending a lot of time there reading, copying. That's really what the place is for. So when you pass the scroll back, he just accepts it and says, "Thank you. That's if you need anything else, you know where we are."
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very
And
much.
shove it back into the shelving without really looking at it.
We didn't have to kill anyone. Fantastic.
It's always better if you don't kill people, especially the innocent ones.
It's always a bonus. It's it's a plus.
All right.
So you've got the scroll.
Yes.
All you need now is someone to interpret it.
Well, we need to find the eye for that. Whilst I transcribed it, did I understand anything that I did? That is written there, sorry.
You can understand quite a bit. It is quite an old scroll. It does go back to like the
I do speak ancient
myth.
imperial.
Yes, it does go back to the creation myth of the world and how the gods created the world using these two stones and then set them above in the stars. So the magic would keep going, would keep orbiting the universe, and how that one of the stars was lost and things started to fall apart. And without their access to the full power, the gods were banished to a realm where they could not return from. It doesn't specifically say how they were banished.
Oh, this is big.
There's a lot of quite confusing, quite flowery wording about where and when the star will fall.
Okay. So we need the eye to determine that. But most importantly, I think we now know who we're going to give the eye to.
Do we?
Yeah, Oz.
Who are we going to give the eye to?
When the eyes are
Cressida
reunited,
did say we.
when the eye returns, when the eyes are put together, the gods will come back. And I don't know about you, but I'm not going to argue with them.
I don't think they should come back.
No, me neither.
I think we should get rid of both the eyes and everybody can have that.
This is what I was saying all along. Don't give anybody the power.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
And that is for a future episode.
That is.
All right, well, let me see, 2 people who watched for some considerable time there. Thank you very much
Yeah.
for watching.
Thank you.
We'll be
Yeah.
back.
Thanks, Steve.
We'll be back next Monday, and as we're back every Monday, and we'll see you then. In the meantime,
Bye, Steve.
everyone, Parageeks 1 on Friday. We stream every week. So bye bye for now.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.